Hello and welcome back to the Buckle Up YouTube channel. My name's Rob Wilson and this is my Up GTI. So, as it's Valentine's Day today, what I thought I'd do, since again I've owned this car now for 2 years and it's been quite an interesting journey with it, I thought I'd list 5 things that I love about my Up GTI, but also I'll do 5 things that I don't quite like as much, but we'll come to those later on. Right then, so first, the way it looks. I think they've done an excellent job of turning quite a boring-y, dull city car shape into a GTI mobile thing. The ways that they've done that is the black detailing and red detailing throughout the car, and obviously the smattering of GTI badges. Having the black detailing on the front there just makes the car look way more aggressive than the ones that are body coloured. So on a normal Up it would just be this same grey in there. Obviously it makes it look like it's probably got a bigger air intake than it does, because it's actually really just that little bit there. But red GTI. As we make our way down the side, the wheels, they're a big thing. They help lots. 17 inches, which isn't big in the grand scheme of things, but on a car that's about the same size as a pint of milk, it's quite impressive to have 17-inch wheels. And obviously the red brake calipers behind that. Moving down the side, we've got the GTI badge, the nice big stripe along the bottom, the black wing mirrors, the black roof, which Harry is now on his tippy toes to try and see. Have you got it there? Yeah. Can you see black roof? Yeah. And then as we make our way around to the back, all Ups have this sort of black glass one-piece boot thing, but when it's teamed with the other black detailing, it helps it stand out a lot more. Obviously you also get a nice little lip spoiler here and a nice big red stripe along the back and a GTI badge. Nowhere on this car does it say it's an Up. It's all very much GTI, and I like that. So, next point then, and we move under the engine because I'm going to talk about...
Under the engine?
Under the bonnet. Right, next one then. That's why I've lifted up the bonnet, so we're going to be talking about power, as some famous British television journalist once said. Basically, this car has got just the right amount of power for the chassis. Any more and it would be a bit difficult. In greasy conditions, when you're being exuberant with the throttle pedal, it can start to lose traction. But in dry conditions, it is pretty much perfect. There's nothing that I would change power-wise about it. So it's a 1 litre, 113 brake horsepower engine, and it's got about 200 Newton meters of torque, which is quite healthy numbers for such a small engine. I should say it is turbocharged. I forgot to say that, shouldn't I? It is turbocharged. And it's like old-fashioned turbocharging, because there is a definite lag, which I quite enjoy. I quite enjoy that old-fashioned sort of nothing, oh, sort of feeling, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Right then, next thing is rarity or exclusivity. Depends how you want to say it, doesn't it, Harry? But I would say rarity. I've owned this car for 2 years. I've only seen 2 in my entire 2-year ownership, which is quite surprising. And I quite like the fact that there aren't many of them around, so that you can be like, oh, I've got a GTI, did you know? With your adenoids. So yeah, I quite like that. So I've moved inside because it's horrible and rainy and cold outside. Next thing is fuel economy. I was a little bit worried when I bought this car that I wasn't going to be able to afford to put fuel in it, but I've been pleasantly surprised. Most times you get anywhere between 40 and 50 miles to the gallon, even in slightly spirited driving. I'm just actually going to look at the long-term figures for this car. So this will be for the full ownership that I've had it. 47.8 miles to the gallon average. That's really good for a car like this. And I'm not exactly drive like Miss Daisy or anything like that. I obviously, being a petrol head, have been known to put my foot down before. So that's extremely good. I'm very happy with that, and that is a very good reason that to get one and to own one is how cheap it is to run. Right, next up then is the size and visibility that you get in the vehicle. So it is a 1, 2, 3.5 steps long, which is obviously very small, and because it's basically got a flat back, as Harry is now demonstrating with the camera, you can see that you can pretty much reverse until the windscreen or the rear windscreen hits the wall. There's no parking sensors, but I don't think you need parking sensors in a vehicle this size. I've never had any problems with parking it or manoeuvring it anywhere, so big plus point of up GTI. Right, so now on to the not so good things after 2 years of ownership. Number one, halogen headlights. I don't know if you can see, but it's got LED daytime running lights, so why couldn't they just spend the little bit extra money to put in LED normal lights as well, and high beams? I'll show you properly in a second. Here we go. If I flash them, can you see? Look at that. And they're just not as good as LED ones, so you can't see anywhere near as far as you can in other cars that I've driven with LEDs, which is a little bit disappointing. Q4 Fiesta. Right, next thing that I'm not too keen on, apologies about the absolute state of my wheels. As you can probably imagine, the car hasn't really been anywhere recently, thanks COVID. But behind those wheels you'll see drum brakes, which I also had on my 1994 Rover Mini, and they were about as good as these ones, to be honest. They just grind and the handbrake gets stuck on, and that's a little bit annoying on such a new car, but hey ho, we move. Hashtag we move. Down with the kids. Is that right, Harry? Right, next thing then that I'm not too keen on is the fact that this seat is quite high and there's no lumbar support. There's one of these which does this, which is fine, but there's nothing for my back, and I'm quite a tall person, so a high seating position mixed with no lumbar support can mean it's slightly irritating after a few hours on the motorway. I don't like that. Right, and another thing that I'm not too keen on is the lack of an actual physical touchscreen in this vehicle. I know it's got this little thing here, which I'll insert some footage of all that working, but there's no like Apple CarPlay in this car at all, or Android Auto. It's got a thing called Maps and More, but it's a bit crap. It doesn't have, you know, Spotify, can't link to it and stuff like that. That's the music service I use, so I'm pretty much left high and dry because I don't have Apple Music. So that's a little bit annoying, because I would quite like to be able to do the whole Apple CarPlay, have my podcast, my music on there, but you get used to it. But next car definitely is going to have Apple CarPlay, no doubt about it. Right, next thing, the steering wheel. While it's a lovely GTI steering wheel, and it'll move up and down that much, it will not come out of the dashboard, which is a little bit annoying, because although I'm quite tall and long-limbed, I like my steering wheels close to my chest. I just think that that's better for driving for me personally, so it's a little bit annoying because I just like it a couple of inches closer to me. But I've lived with it for 2 years and it hasn't caused me too much hardship, but definitely if I'm looking to get a new car, that will be something that I'll be looking out for. Just a little thing, but it does grind my gears. Right then, that's my roundup of the 5 things I love and the 5 things I don't like so much about my Up GTI. Lots of things to consider. Might be buying a new car this year, so look out for that coming up. Hopefully some of the things that I didn't like I'll rectify in my new one, but who knows, I could be a completely unpractical idiot, which is probably quite likely. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Drive Tribe. We have a Patreon account. That'll do. See you next time. Oh, and Harry's just mentioned merchandise. So look at that link as well. You can get a nice t-shirt. No, I haven't got one on, annoyingly, but there's lots of things on there. A mug, a thing. Look, why are you still watching? Click the link. Bye.